Hi, my name is Kathleen Britton. Thank you for the opportunity. In response to your first question, I recently joined as a Scrum Master for a team with specialists. Managers were silent observers of the daily Scrum in a fishbowl format. The QA manager was openly skeptical of Scrum. In meetings she scheduled with the product owner and me, she resisted change. I listened to, then I addressed her concerns. For example, I explained how my proposals, such as slicing stories smaller so coding and testing could be completed within a single sprint, how that would improve velocity. I also explained how moving from push, assigned work, to pull, where a team member announces they have capacity and the team selects the next story that member will work on, how that would reduce bottlenecks and increase ownership. The QA manager realized that my recommendations particularly benefited testing. Once she saw velocity increasing, she championed Scrum. As a result, the team's velocity increased by 288% in 3 months. In response to your second question, when I join an in flight team whose former Scrum Master operated more like a project manager, I encounter low trust in my suggested changes. To build trust, I form relationships rooted in the Scrum values of openness and respect. I have conversations to understand the concerns, then I offer a condensed team training using a deck that I created. My training distills over 100 hours of certification content into a focused 2 hour session, more effective and accessible than Agile courses that are typically much longer. The team and the product owner quickly understand Agile. Then, as the team adopts my suggestions to eliminate anti patterns, of course, velocity improves. I thereby earn trust through supportive servant leadership. In response to your third question, as a Scrum Master, I consistently foster a culture of respect. For example, I treat each team member off and onshore as an equal contributor, which has led to positive feedback, especially from offshore team members. Several have shared with me that for the first time they felt respected by an onshore Scrum Master. Another way I demonstrate respect is by creating a retrospective page several days in advance of the last day of the sprint or the iteration. Each team member, including those scheduled for PTO or who have a regional holiday on the last day of the sprint, can share their perspective, which I present during the retro. I also train a backup scrum master to facilitate the daily scrum for onshore holidays or my PTO, ensuring that the team is empowered and can maintain its momentum. In response to your fourth question, the largest challenge I face as a Scrum Master is in taking over in flight teams with ingrained anti patterns that lower velocity and reduce delivery predictability. For example, I often join teams that delay story reviews until the end of the sprint, which is what is specified in the Scrum Guide. I coach the team to review each story as it is completed, which is real world, not textbook. My on demand story reviews, as I call them, give the team time to resolve any issues the product owner may find within that story as it's reviewed, still in that sprint. And as a result, a higher percentage of the forecasted work is delivered each sprint. Thank you again for the opportunity.